Welcome back, Alpha Hunters. Hopefully, everybody's doing well this Wednesday. It is Wellness Wednesday. We are about to get FOMC minutes here in about 5 minutes. So, just real quick, wanted to check out what's going on with the market. And yeah, not much really kind of say. We got a nice little continuation lower today. Very interesting. Kind of looking to see what is rotating around. Q's Tech were weak early on, so we'll see what's going on there. Just 1 second. Nice trade lower today. Okay. But yeah, we were definitely seeing a nice trade lower today on the Qs. And then Qs are actually outperforming the SPY now, so we'll get into some of that here. There we go. Totally forgot about typing in the initial message. There we go. All right. SPY. Yeah, nice. The Qs. What's interesting about the Qs, we're talking about this 334.42 level yesterday. This was the August high. We were above it for a couple days, and we saw that quick drop yesterday right through. The market was trying to hold support there, but it just didn't. We saw that quick drop through, and it just went sideways then for the rest of the day. And I'm not going to say it ended on the lows, but it was kind of towards the lows. Nice little gap down today on basically a lot of people were concerned about debt ceiling now because, they're not getting anything done. So, wow, shocker. There could be potential risk to the market if they don't get a debt ceiling done. So now people are trying to, I'd say, be a little bit more protective right now. So here in the middle part of the day, just a couple hours ago, we were seeing the SPY actually trade a little bit lower, a little weaker around that 11 Eastern to about 1 Eastern kind of time frame. So we definitely saw the SPY underperform there a little bit against the Qs. But as we kind of just look through, the IWM also weaker kind of that time frame. DIA has not been strong today. But yeah, the IWM down 1.25%. Man, it's just equal weight S&P 500 down a little bit over 1%. So we're seeing that deterioration of that lower end stuff again, especially as the day has gone on. Seems like the Qs not being as bad. Nice little lower wick there. Checking into the 10 on the daily there on the Qs. Nice little lower wick right there. So far on the SPY. We do obviously have a nice little open gap here from overnight. Okay. Not to say we have to feel that, but my current bet is we probably do. We might feel it pretty quick today, and then come back down by close. FOMC might be the catalyst to spur some of that. Maybe the Fed FOMC minutes maybe mention some information about rate pause and that kind of stuff. So if we do kind of get that push higher, I'd imagine the market still comes back down by close. So we'll see. A lot of people pins and needles right now, I guess. Not really much to think about the FOMC minutes. I know the last one was kind of a big one, just mostly because there was a lot more talk about recession in those FOMC minutes, but nobody asked questions at that previous press conference. So that was kind of a big deal. Nobody asked questions about it, but yeah, it is what it is. People were more worried about the regional banking issue that was going on back then. Nobody asked questions about recession, but the FOMC minutes had a lot more about recession than people probably realized. So we saw a little drop. I'd imagine that probably won't catch people off guard this time, but we'll see. Tesla, nice gap down today. Nice little continuation from yesterday. Checking into that 10 daily. Kind of what I was expecting. Trade lower, got into that 10 daily. I would be curious to see how much of a bounce we get off of that. Because intraday, I mean, looks like we sold down initially, checked into that 10 daily. Now it's kind of, I mean, it's nice. It's been a nice move back higher, but I don't know how much you really want to be like long, super long on that. All right, how's the SPY reacting? Not too much going on. It takes a little bit for people to kind of get through the minutes, right? It's more words. It's not so much just a data number. So it takes a couple minutes to get through that. And I'm sure what a lot of people are doing is they're keyword searching through the minutes, like, hey, recession, trying to go through all the bullet points, seeing, or they're just uploading it to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is probably like, oh yeah, this isn't good. Probably my guess. You know, if I was a big time fund, that's what I would do. Or if I was a really good retail trader, that's what I would do. AAPL. Nice little lower gap down today, but yeah, I mean, it got bought up initially and then just kind of very methodically sold down for a few hours, and you know, past hour and a half or so, it's been getting bought up a little bit. Yeah, if we don't have too much of a bearish reaction here and keep going lower, I'd imagine the market does pop higher. All right. Let's take a look, see what's going on heat map wise. Financials, man, look at the financials. Wow, all red. Geez, I haven't really looked around the market too much today. I typically don't. But you know, the market was pretty red yesterday. It came out today. It was kind of pretty red today so far. I mean, I could see a nice little move higher going into the close. Maybe early tomorrow. Then maybe we see some selling come back in late Thursday and Friday. Be maybe my take. So, yeah, we're not really seeing too many areas out there be super strong. Staples, even though they're negative, you know, there's a lot of negative there. They're not as negative as some other areas. AAPL and Microsoft are just kind of flat. Meta's up a little bit. Amazon's up quite a bit, up over 1%. Energies look like they're doing okay. Okay. Financials are the ones that just seem super concentrated into that bearish direction today. And tech, outside of really a lot, just a few of the big ones, also seem to be pretty red for the day. All right, let's take a look at. I'll tell you what. Let's go take a look through dollar. Dollar's getting a little bit of a uplift here. Dollar breaking out, continuation. Nice little consolidation here over the past couple days, continuing higher. 10-year yield, continuing higher. Okay. Ooh, inversion yield through a nice little upper wick there. We'll see what how that plays out the rest of the day. Obviously, as we just got a catalyst out there in the marketplace, so we'll see how the rest of the day kind of unwinds. Gold, nice little move on gold in the bearish direction. Dollar's up, breaking out. Gold's not quite breaking down, but it's still kind of consolidating here. So interesting. Jesus. HYG, man, what did it do here recently? Not much. Okay, so that wasn't really driven too much. Wow. LQD, nice little bullish move yesterday, but it's mostly just come right back down with HYG. Wow. That's a move. Like, that's what LQD's kind of been doing here recently. So HYG just kind of like, hey, we're playing catch up. Yeah, that's a pretty brutal move there. TLT's getting down there as well. Okay. All right, so we finally getting some movement on the market. Yeah, it kind of looks like it. Not really all that crazy, but you can definitely tell the market did pick up a little bit on some volatility. All right, nothing crazy. Oh, what's the VIX doing? VIX is up today. All right, VIX is up today. I mean, the market hasn't been super bearish this week. I'm not going to say we haven't had bearish moves today yet, yesterday and today. I mean, obviously we have, but man, these are, these are sharp moves higher on the VIX. So, VIX is actually, let me go back to that. Where's the, I know this is a little delayed here, so, but the VIX is currently at 2021, so it's a little bit higher. It's like up here. Okay. Okay. Netflix has actually been one of the stronger ones in tech today, actually just in the stock market in general, up 1.5%. Nice little shave bottom there. So we got bought right at the open. Daily has a shave bottom. Intraday does not have quite a shave bottom. Okay. Okay. AAPL. This is a pretty significant move here on AAPL. If like we're not getting back above this little upward trending line, are we starting to see, what could be potentially, a change of trend, or at least a pause? Maybe we're going to set in a new upward trend. I mean, it's so hard to be kind of bearish just because you break an uptrend. It just means like that trend is no longer relevant. Right, and that was a very strong trend that we've been in for really 5 months since the start of the year. 5.5 months, the AAPL was in a very strong uptrend. So I mean, it's kind of like let me take this. It's kind of like this uptrend, right? We had this uptrend that lasted for about a month and a half, and then it broke, and then it set in a new uptrend. It's not to say it couldn't have a bearish move, but doesn't mean it's going to go back to being crushed. I would like the bearish play here. Like if you're going to try a bearish play, obviously you want to try as high as possible. It seems like an all right spot. It's previously been up in this area. It did take that wick from back in August, a little gap up above it back on Friday. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. So, yep. I'll leave that upward trending line there for now. For now. Might not last a couple more days. Qs. Kind of curious. Going to be curious to see which of these markets starts to really move more after the minutes. And if you hear the landscaping peeps outside, sorry about that. They literally just started blowing. Transport's getting hit pretty good today. CSX. Yes, they are. CSX, man, they getting hit pretty good. UNP getting hit pretty good. NSC. So all the railroads are down pretty good. What about UPS? Yeah, UPS is down a little bit as well. FedEx. Yeah, FedEx ain't doing too. I mean, it's down pretty good today, but the past several months look so much better on FedEx compared to some of the others in transports. About man, who's some others? So I saw Lindell had a what's going on, Corey? How you doing? Saw your nice little P&L post. Nice, dude. Lindell had a nice bearish data yesterday. It was down 3.5%. Yeah, dang. All right. What's going on out there? Anything crazy going on? I will not be live streaming on Friday. Just now I'm thinking about it, I won't be live streaming on Friday. I will be busy. So I don't even know how much I'm going to be really looking at the markets on Friday. It's kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. Netflix password sharing crackdown officially hits US. Yeah, we saw the market was kind of reacting to some of that over the past couple days. There is zero chance of the US defaulting on its debt, Wharton Professor Jeremy Siegel says. 0% chance. Man, whenever somebody in the finance world comes out and says there's a 0% chance, that you want to talk about black swan events, that's it right there. And honestly, the stock market seems to very much be in line with that. Like the stock market is, completely been ignoring that, they're not getting anything done. Not to say that I'm not rooting for it to happen, for them to default at all, but I don't really think many people in the world want to go through that. See what that looks like. Microsoft's letting companies build their own AI co-pilots. Okay. All right. So, I would imagine most people have probably been able to figure out what's going on or what went on in the Fed minutes. How's it look? It's not horribly bearish. I mean, we had a little bit of a drop and nothing crazy. That the other thing I think might just pop bullish here going into the day, just because we broke down Monday, Tuesday, and today, at least on the Qs. SPY, we actually didn't make a new high on Monday, but we broke down yesterday and today. Oh, all right. Maybe we are gonna drop. Let me know anything you guys watching. Strong feeling Nvidia miss holding that put overnight. Yeah, that'd probably be an okay play in Nvidia. What's really interesting here is we have a pretty large, just looking at this weekly chart here on NVDA. We have a very nice breakout thruster action, bullish direction, taking out some previous highs from last March on a little bit higher volume on a weekly, right? This is on a weekly. So if they miss, I would imagine this weekly candle would be red, bearish, and it would probably be back below, like this 380 area. And if that happens on a weekly time frame, that just wouldn't look good. Man, that wouldn't look good. But, we'll find out tomorrow if that possibly happens. Let's see, 380. What kind of move are we talking here? Oh, I can just grab anything right here. All right, 380. Where's 380? Oh, that's only 7%. Oh, man, they can easily gap that. Yeah, I mean, that could easily happen. And you can see the day that a lot of that volume came through, probably took out that high from back in March of last year. Yeah. Yeah, 7%. That's nothing. They could gap that. What did they do previously? 14% back in February. Back in November. Looks like they were down 4.5%. No, that probably would have been the day after. Yeah, that would have been the day after. They were down 1.5%. And then back in August, they were up 4%. They could definitely move that, especially if they miss. If they miss, they could definitely move that. Probably more of what they talk about. Maybe like year-end forecast. Are they seeing AI growth? If they're not really seeing AI growth, then I could definitely see them easily trading down 7%. But I like it. Holding NVIDIA puts overnight. If you don't want to do NVIDIA, AMD might not be a bad play just because there's not a lot of intrinsic or implied volatility in the options probably on AMD. So if you want to play the bearish play NVIDIA, but don't want to have to pay the premium for the options, AMD might not be a bad play. They've been on a pretty good run here. TSM, I'd rather do AMD over TSM. Oh, whoops. Intel. Yeah, I don't know how much I would be bearish on Intel. It's just such at a low level. I think I would rather do AMD. Out of some of those, I would rather do AMD. Yeah. So that'd be my game plan. If I was going to do that, I'd probably do it with a vertical. I don't think I would just do it in the outright put. Are you doing, Corey, are you doing the verticals or are you doing just a put option? Qs. So we saw some bearishness creep in. I've seen a little bit of buying come back in. IWM, not as strong here the past couple minutes. Equal weight SP 500, not as strong. All right, well, let's go look through sector rotation. We're not really moving too much. That is perfectly fine. So we got, there we go. With the gap, energies are performing well. Yeah, you can go take a look at energies. Real estate, not performing well. Real estate looks like it's just been getting shredded all day, throughout the day. Discretionaries outperforming, utilities outperforming, staples, healthcare all outperforming, XLC outperforming. So people are like getting defensive and also being in the risk on stuff, because even tech, it's not outperforming, but it's slightly underperforming. Materials, industrials, and financials are underperforming. And then without the gap, yeah, real estate's just gotten hammered throughout the day. Healthcare has actually been getting bought up throughout the day. Tech's actually been doing okay. So tech had a pretty good gap down. Yeah, that's kind of what was kind of noticed throughout the middle of the day. Tech was doing much better than the rest of the market. XLC, XLK, discretionary. So communication, staples, and discretionary all in about the same area. A little bit outperforming. Underperforming materials, utilities, financials, industrials, and energies. Okay, so really, it's about real estate. Energies, though. Energies have not been performing all that well. Okay, so even though they're the best performing sector on the day, it's really all about that gap up on energies. So XLE, yeah, gap up, and they've definitely traded lower. Exxon Mobil, nice little doji. Yeah, haven't done much. Chevron a little bit lower. Wick there. ConocoPhillips, a little bit of a lower wick. So Exxon had a little bit of a higher wick there. Okay. Crude oil, that was crude oil. Man, crude oil. Yeah, still wouldn't want to touch it. I mean, I can get the idea behind being bullish on crude oil here, but I don't want to touch it. Gasoline's been performing really well. No, so that's copper. Is it HO? Yeah, there we go. Diesel's pretty much flat. Okay. People watch diesel a lot because it's more of the economic type fuel, using trucks, right? Trucking, that kind of stuff. So people will watch diesel a lot more closely to see economic activity. But how's copper doing? Oh man, look at that move on copper. Yeah, copper has not been performing well. You got this little consolidation here last week. Yeah, that is not looking good. Dang, that looks rough. Oops. That looks rough. Getting kind of back down to this lower area. Okay, so let's look at that. Yeah, we had some previous tops there back in October, November, or really just October, and then we broke out in November. We retested there late November, and we went on a run. And all that kind of coincided with China reopening and that kind of stuff. Now we're coming back to that level, and that's just like after the breakout. I can't imagine that's a retest. I'd imagine we're probably just going lower. Yeah, I mean, that's some pretty good volume coming in today on copper futures. Man, that's brutal. First Solar. Nice little upper wick there on First Solar. Wow, that's a huge upper wick. People came out, initially bought it up, but it just got crushed right off after the first 10 minutes. We saw really about 40 minutes of selling. Dang. And it hasn't really bounced since. Now that it's getting through these moving averages, man, this thing might really pick up some steam in that bearish direction. So, I see the market's a little bit lower. Okay. I kind of thought we would have at least been bouncing a little bit more here. We're not really doing too much. I mean, it's a little bit of a lower trade. It's not crazy. We're not seeing any crazy reaction. Not like last time we got FOMC minutes. There was a big surprise in there about the recession talk, mostly because nobody asked questions about recession in that previous Jerome Powell's press conference at the end of that. Oh man, when we got the interest rate decision, so everybody was worried about the regional banking crisis and banking sector and how did this happen, all that. Nobody really asked about recession, so there was no talk about it until we got to the FOMC minutes. Find out that there was quite a bit of talk about it. So I would imagine recession's not going to surprise too many people this time. If it's in there, there might be some narrative comments about recession that might surprise people. So let me know what you're looking at. But kind of bummer. We're not really seeing much activity. I mean, we're seeing a lower trade, but it's not nearly as crazy as this morning. This morning we were definitely seeing some lower trading. This is after the gap down. So are people getting more defensive? I would imagine, yes, they are. Treasury, I'm kind of see. I'm not going to do it on a live stream, but I need to look up Treasury deposits. Sure, why not? Treasury deposits with Federal Reserve banks. I don't know what this is all about, honestly. Treasury. Is there an explanation? No. Treasury deposits with Federal Reserve banks. I don't know what that's tracking. Obviously, it's in a downtrend. What I'm really gonna look for, and I'll try to see if I can find it, is how much the Treasury is actually issuing debt, especially on the short term. There's been some talks about this here recently, and I found an interesting chart, so I'm gonna have to go refine that. But the interesting part about it is over the past several weeks to even like couple months, obviously the Treasury hasn't been able to issue short-term debt, like 6-month out debt. Like they can't, raise debt to pay bills because they're at the debt ceiling. Like they're maxed out on debt. So it's kind of interesting that we'll see what will come from the Treasury issuing a substantial amount of debt once the debt ceiling is raised. And basically, I saw this article last week, and I actually seen a couple people talk about it. Or I saw another thing talked about it yesterday. Is for how much debt that they haven't been issuing here over the past couple of months, and this is one reason why the stock market actually could have been bullish here over the past couple of months, is because the Treasury is not issuing debt, so nobody's buying it, so they're putting the capital in the stock market. Interesting. So if they take away, so if the Treasury comes out and starts issuing debt, and this is going to be like an influx of, I mean, how much Treasury money are they going to have to catch up? Is like billions of dollars, like hundreds of billions of dollars, right? It's a substantial amount of redistribution of capital in the marketplace between stocks, equities, bonds, precious metals, all that. Like, so we're going to see some pretty sharp moves going forward because people are going to rotate that are used to buying those, short dated treasuries. They're going to go back to doing that, and that is where basically people are kind of thinking that that's where the stock market actually might get hit, is because capital outflows are going to go into the treasuries and buying treasuries. I was like, okay. So, anyways, I'll go look up some charts about that because I kind of did want to see if I can replicate possibly how much capital that would be, and then you know, maybe like how much, see what kind of price moves we're talking about. But I can find that later. I don't want to have to look through that because I don't know how long it'll take to find that. But I dig it. I dig it. I was like, ooh, that is kind of interesting. Oh man, keep breaking down. I mean, not gonna hurt my feelings. What's going on with the news? Anything going on out there? Slide, debt talk, Fed minutes in focus. Not too much going on there. We know about all that. Netflix password sharing crackdown officially hits U.S. Yeah. What about Fed's Waller? No stopping rate hikes until inflation cools. Really? So he's saying we're going to keep raising rates until inflation cools. Wow. Okay. Stock slide as debt ceiling talks hit another snag. Yeah, we know. I was kind of hoping to see if they said something about FOMC minutes, but it doesn't. Yeah, it don't look like a big deal. It don't look like too big of a deal. I don't really dig trying to be bearish right here just because we've had two pretty good bearish days in a row. We do have a little bit of an open gap. I'm not saying we got to be bullish into the close. I would just imagine we could be bullish into close a little bit, get up a little bit higher, maybe trade a little bit higher tomorrow. Even if Nvidia comes in bearish, I mean, that could just be a one-off, right? I mean, it might not crash the market. If Apple, they would have earnings, they would crash the market. Probably Nvidia, maybe not, because everybody knows like they're hugely extended. So we still might see a market push up a little bit, kind of do a little bit of a retest. We did come back into this choppy sideways consolidation zone that we were in for a little while. But if we start to just cut through here, the market's really then going to have a problem. 30-minute, longer term stuff. Yeah, like we haven't even hit the 10 on an hourly in a while. Ali said maybe Nvidia's miss could stop a little bit of this AI hype. I think AI is very real. I don't buy into the hype isn't real. I think it's going to do great things. To me, it's just more about a stock play. Valuations. I wouldn't even say valuations. Just normalizing long-term expectations on what you're expecting out of the stock market. That's my main thing. There's always going to be the next greatest thing to chase. Always. There always is. 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, was the metaverse. Like, I knew that was doomed for failure because I wore glasses for years. And let me tell you, the last thing I want to put on my face is glasses. Much less heavier glasses, which are, goggles. But as far as like stock flows, dude, I mean, the hype's over when people just stop buying. Like that's it. And I mean, outside of the rest of the market, like there's no AI hype. And you know what's funny is I think those are the better opportunities because those are the areas where companies are going to use AI to shrink workforce, make better processes, save money. And then tech companies are actually going to incur the cost because they have to build out infrastructure for AI and they have to compete with one another. They're going to compete with one another to get market share. So, yeah, they're not going to be making money on AI for a while. I'm sure they probably are making some money, but it's not substantial. Is AI a program, hardware, or both? Program. It's programming. It's not hardware. So the hardware side, that's why Nvidia's been doing so well, though. Just taking a look here at Nvidia, that's why they've been doing so well. It's because they have some of the best AI hardware out there, right? Their stuff does some of the best computational processes out there. So that's why Nvidia is doing really well. As far as Meta's the other top performer in the SP 500 for the year, and I don't get it. Call me ignorant, man. I don't care. I just don't trust Zuckerberg, honestly. I mean, he flip flopped on metaverse on the metaverse to AI. Like once and he's still pouring billions into the metaverse. Don't get me wrong, he's still doing it. You need for microwave chips. Why should AI need more? Why should AI need more chips? I mean, they're always going to do more. It's so because people are looking at AI to offset search, right? Like if you wanted to find out any information 2 years ago or even a year ago, you would go to google.com and you would search or some Google search browser, right? 90% of the odds, most likely it's going to be Google search. And so people are looking at AI is going to offset that, and that's another reason why I don't buy into the whole Alphabet stock really. Like they're the ones to me that are going to get most disrupted by this because they can't bring in money because they got to compete for the market share, and that's where most of their money's made. And it costs more, and that's the other thing is AI costs more. There's much more processing that goes into AI than just a search. So, yeah, that's kind of. I don't know all the ins and outs. I'm more of a high level person. But it's going to be an interesting world here over the next 10 years to see just how much AI changes things. And, we've gone through a lot of this before. Machinery and the Industrial Revolution, remember, we used to be just nothing but farmers up until that point. And then all of a sudden, people are getting kicked off the farmland. It's like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? We got to support all these people and give them stimulus packages every month. It's like, you don't need to do that. Like people are going to figure out how to adjust in society, what the new business environment and work environment is going to be like. Like, yeah, people will adjust. And really what it's going to be is like the older generations that have done those things, they'll just die off. Not to be like, like an anarchist, but that's just what happens. Like people, like the older generations, they wind up just dying. Like nobody rides a horse anymore. Like, oh man, we don't need trolley drivers anymore. So, I think AI is going to be really cool. I really do. I hope it does alleviate a lot of pain points in in the market in the business environment, because there is a lot of jobs out there that, to be pretty honest, they don't provide a real economic benefit. They really don't. So hopefully, people can adjust and we can get people to providing actually more beneficial economic, roles out there. Gosh, this is such a nice pattern. I love this. We took these highs on this hourly and just came right back down. Two good gaps too. We gapped down yesterday and then traded lower, and we gapped down today. We haven't really. I mean, we traded lower in the first hour. But that's why I kind of think we'll probably see the market bounce back. We'll see the market probably bounce back here, going maybe even into tomorrow morning. Nvidia might have a bad day tomorrow, possibly. Even if Nvidia kills it, like let's say that Nvidia kills it and they gap up, they'll probably just fade. Not one week. They'll probably just fade. Like if they gap up, they crush it. People are just going to come in and sell them off. Actually, let me see. Yeah, so 345. I'm not saying we gap up to 345 tomorrow, but that's a 14.5% gap up, roughly 15% gap up to take out all-time highs. What is this all-time high? What is this? Sorry. 346.47. Let me change this. 346.47. Okay, come on. So yeah, I mean we could see Nvidia gap up tomorrow, but I think it would just be a fade. I mean, it's just been such a strong run. I think you probably see a lot of people sell it. But that's really all, man. I would, and this is, if you know anybody, between, I was thinking about this like yesterday, past couple of days, like between the ages of like 15 to about 30, 35, better tell them, man, they better be learning AI, especially if they're like a white collar worker. They better be learning AI, because if they don't know how to use it and work with it, man, it's not exact. They're gonna be it. I would rather be the one kind of leading the change than the one that's getting change impact, put upon them. If I still worked at the company, I'd be learning everything I could about AI. I'd be spending like 2 hours a day at a minimum learning everything I could about AI and prompts, data analysis with AI, all of it. If I can do that, as much work as what people are saying that they can get done with it, especially programming. Like I've never been a programmer, but you can get these programs, these AI, ChatGPT, to program you things. It's like awesome. Give me some code in Excel. How can I do this process faster in Excel? Like speeding up anything and everything. So yeah, I think AI is gonna be really good. It's just not yet. And typically, whenever we see these major technological changes, what usually happens first is a recession, because you got to die off the old businesses, right? You got to die off the old workforce, and then you got to build up the new. You don't just go and build up the new. Like you got to die off the old, and then you build up the new. So that's another reason why I'm still bearish on the stock market, even with the AI hype. It's because if AI is going to put people out of work, then it's going to put people out of work. We'll go see a recession, and then we got to see the new business environment take off. So nice little run. Tried to make a lower push down to the lows. Didn't really quite get there. I do want to see the market at least consolidate here through tomorrow, midday or so. maybe push a little bit higher, a little bit of a retest, and then maybe push back down going into close out the week. But on a weekly, I just want to show you this. I did see this on a weekly. We did form a nice little bearish engulfing. So far, it's a bearish engulfing move here on the weekly time frame. So yeah, we did get below last week's low, by the way. Last week we had a low 410.23. We got to 409.88 today. So if we see a little bit of a push up, I'm gonna just average more into it, just a little bit, nothing crazy. Yeah, man, it's an interesting spot on the market just because we do have Nvidia's earnings tomorrow, and I do think we could see a little bit more bearishness from their earnings. And I'm sure they're going to hype up AI as like the next great revenue generator for the company, and I know they matter of fact will. But at some point, you just got to say, dude, you're not going to meet this growth expectation that has been bestowed upon the stock price. And that's the difference, right? We don't really trade earnings, we trade stock price. We don't trade economic numbers, we trade stock prices. So the stock price is just crazy, insane. So for Ali, I would agree with you. The hype on the stock price might be a little rich. Might be a little rich. Let me know if there's anything you want to look at. I'll start looking through some things, see what's going on. So yeah, let's go see what's going on with financials. See, you give me soapboxing forever, and I'll just freaking go, man. Like the Energizer Bunny, I'll just talk about anything on finance or the stock market. XLF, yeah, nice little gap down today. Is the KRE getting crushed? No, the KRE's not too bad. I mean, nice little gap down, but for how volatile this thing has been over the past couple of months, that's not bad. KBE. Whoa, hold up. Wow, so the KBE is actually down as much as the KRE. So that's interesting. Nice little upper wick there on the KBE and the KRE today. Yesterday, nice upper wick there on both of them. Yeah, I mean, they just had huge pops early on, then just slowly faded throughout the day. Oh, okay. So what's going on with Goldman? Goldman, not looking good. Not looking good here. Getting back down to that low. So that's Goldman. I had JP Morgan. Wow. Okay. Bank of America. Bank of America. Gap down, trading lower today, down 1.5%. Down 1.5%. Wells Fargo, not doing as bad as some of the others. Okay. Wells Fargo down about a little over 0.5%. Morgan Stanley breaking down. Okay. Morgan Stanley breaking down. Getting down to kind of a pivot level back in last June. So last June, yeah, hitting right into that pivot level. We got another one here mid-October. Nice little pivot level. I would say they probably won't matter. Probably at least coming down to 78. At least coming down to 78. What about... so BlackRock, a little bit of a trade lower. Okay, down 1.7% there on BlackRock. Blackstone down 1.25%. Or that's Blackstone. If I said BlackRock, Blackstone. What about Schwab? How are they? They look like a regional bank, honestly. They're down 1.4%. Speaking of regional banks, yeah, Zion got bought back up here over the past week and a half. Looks like a pretty good trade there. Back higher. Back in this consolidation range for about a month that it was in. Okay. What about? Oh yeah, Citigroup. Ooh, Citigroup down 2.9%. For Citigroup, breakup is hard to do, but still worth it. Heard on the street. Wow. Banana Hammocks business. Banamex. Citi to pursue IPO of Banamex business. Resume modest level of stock repurchases. Oh, it's a Mexican bank. So Banamex is a Mexican bank, I guess. Okay. All right. So that's interesting. Citigroup looking to sell off. What else is out there? The finance world. Blackstone, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo looked at. AXP. American Express. Yeah, a little bit lower trade. Okay. USB. That's what. US Bank not looking good. Down 1.6. Insurance. Progressive. Down a little bit over a quarter. SPG. I just want to. Yeah, that don't look good. Simon Property Group. It's a REIT. Not looking the best there. STT. State Street. Yeah, nice little gap down back in earnings. I remember that. A little bit of a trade lower here over the past couple of weeks. What else is out there? WY. Another REIT trading. So yeah, it's just REITs are getting crushed today. Yeah. How about O? How's O doing? Yeah, they're getting crushed. Medical properties. Medical properties actually gapped up, but they've traded lower. They're down a little bit over 1%. So that might mean that's kind of telling you everything you know. It's REITs that are seems like they're really killing the financials. Regional banks, Truist down 1%. Nice little lower work there. Okay. If you got anything, let me know. You got Ali. You said it feels like 2021 Wall Street bets time. Everything goes up. I remember we had only 1 day minus 2% this year. Yeah. I mean, the market doesn't really like to go down more than 2%. It might trade down more than 2%, but it typically doesn't like to close down more than 2%. It just doesn't happen often. It's not as much as you might think. There's always money flowing into the market. It's super rare. That's why I don't like being bearish, especially like aggressively bearish. I don't like being aggressively bearish over like a couple days, like even a day. Like give yourself plenty of time. Like you can get some good moves. Like not saying the market can't go down like 0.5%, 1.5%, 0.75%, 1%, all back to back to back. Like you can do that. It doesn't like to go down 2%. Especially when you've already gone down, like yesterday. We were down 1%. So it's like, it's definitely not going to do that today. But we get out here and consolidate, break down below these support levels around 404, 403. We might start to see some bearish moves, yeah. We might start to see some bearish moves. Qs have been a little bit stronger over this hour. IWM was weak early on, came back a little bit. Let me know if there's anything you want to look at. I'll just kind of briefly go through, see what's kind of moved here this hour since we got the minutes. Transports, that's the thing, is like not too much seems like it has moved. Yeah, I mean VIX is pushing a little bit higher today. This is another reason I would like to see maybe a little bit of a bullish move on the market as we go into close today and tomorrow, I would like to see the VIX kind of come back down. And, not to say the market rally super hard, but just a nice little subtle retest up into like 414, 413, 414, something like that. While the VIX kind of just like really gets crushed off here and comes back down. And then maybe we start to see another breakdown on the market, take out like today's low by Friday or so, get back down there, and the VIX then doesn't take out this high quite yet. That's kind of some stuff I would like to see. I would like to see the market change the trend, and the VIX isn't really breaking higher yet. Dollar. Nice little consolidation over the past 3 trading sessions. Pushing higher. Jeez. There's a look since. It's come down a little bit. 10-year yield. Just an animal. Just been pushing higher several sessions in a row. Finally got a red session yesterday. The inversion yield has pushed back up a little bit. Okay. That was basically at the lows of the day earlier when we first looked at that. Gold pushing a little bit lower, not taking out that low from last week. HYG though had a nasty breakdown today. Yeah, I mean, that morning session just absolutely wrecked this thing. These bond guys, they're full on risk off. They're just like, yeah, man, we don't trust you equity guys for shit. Tesla did check into that 10 moving average coming up on a daily. Yeah, kind of figured. See kind of where it tops at. It might be topping out here. It did make a new daily high, and that's kind of where it topped out. Once it did that, it's kind of topped out. It's been ever so subtly trading back lower. Okay. Netflix. Netflix got a little rejuvenation on the open today. 5-minute was up, and it really hasn't moved too much since that first 5 minutes. It's just kind of been a little bit all over the place since then. Be curious to see if we do trade lower going into close, though, because then Netflix would have a huge upper wick. Apple having a breakdown below this kind of upward trending line, broke through yesterday. Kind of a modest little slight upper wick today, checking into that 10 daily. Could break down. There's a lot of room between the 20, which is basically sitting on, and the 50. I mean, that's 6 points, roughly 5.5 points. So it could make that move soon. Not saying it will, but it could. Alpha Hunters, I'm done. I'm good. We haven't really done too much after the initial gap down and sell down. We've been trading. Well, I'm not even kind of count this upper wick, but really from like 411.40 to the lower end about 410. So about 1.5 points has been the trading range for most of the day. It's been a pretty boring day. Even, just take out that gap down, that little early 30-minute trade down. It's been a pretty boring day. Even when we got FOMC minutes, not a big deal. We saw a little bit of volatility on the 1 minute, but nothing crazy. I want to see what a retest kind of looks like. If we start to retest higher and then we come back down and take out basically today's low, that would be a big killer for bulls. Cool. Bulls would be like, oh no, that's not good. So, Alpha Hunters, that's all I got. Y'all have a great day. We'll see what things look like tomorrow. See if we ever do get a resolution to the debt ceiling issue. And not going to say we ever do get one, but hopefully we do. Alpha Hunters, take care.